Hi guys, welcome to part 3 of our series of videos on updating our assets model to cope with the Visual Studio components. I think the sound of the previous video is probably worse than usual. I just noticed that my music was a bit too loud. We'll lower it now, so hopefully this one will be a bit better. Okay, so on the previous video we added a new element to name, which is this chap here. A simple name internal. The name is still up to debate, but we're gonna have to live with it for now. So what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna quickly go to engine and do another quick rename, or another rename, or a rename. So this really is model location. Don't really like the name model location, but it is actually location properties related to the model. And if we just see where we got on 5, if we just go and just generate everything. Now what we're going to see is a lot of things are going to change. As expected. Okie doke. Now then, what we need to do is to say, well, where naming was being used. Quick search in projects. Just look for naming. Just gonna get rid of this. So when naming was being used, she's actually not a very good name because you can see you got it everywhere. I suspect it's just this chap here. So in here, just this to the model location, and just search for naming. Suspect this could probably take us there. One really annoying thing about LSP mode is, for whatever reason, if you change an include, it seems to take a rather long time to process that include. As you can see here, what it's doing is it's completing one character at a time. That I typed a second ago. It's not very nice. So in theory, and this is one of the joys of code generation, in theory, that rename should result in only these changes, and then we can go on our merry way. Of course, we do have to remember, as we always forget, to update the JSON model. Quite upsetting. At some points we will be annoyed enough to do something about it. I'm not sure what I did there, but I seem to have lost the changes. Oh, apologies, I just decided to convert the wrong model. This hopefully will give us a slightly more sensible result. Okay, here we are. And now, if everything goes according to plan, everything run all tests, and hopefully this will give us what we're looking for. Right, so let's just commit this. Engine, name, feature, to model location. These properties are related to model location only. So this name is more accurate. Right, okay then. So now we've done that. we need to go here, get another variability bundle. This one we call main, and then we're gonna give it a, well, let's copy across this stuff. So our binding point will be elements this time, or entity, I believe. Feature group for name-related features, that's still correct. What is not so correct is this guy. For model location related features. I wonder if these comments actually being used at present. If not, we should really raise a story for that. So the only attribute we're going to have here is going to be simple internal. This type will be just like these guys here, text. Right, so if sets to true, the simple name will be used only internally within assets. And then we could say we don't really like the fact that we need to repeat the qualified name. This is a bit of a bug, but is optional is obviously true. Something like this. Nice spacing around here. Well, let's just use our little coloring script. This comes in handy. Give us the right color for our modeling elements. So let's yet again regenerate the model. Okay. Interesting. Source type value could not be interpreted as target. That's interesting. Oh, this is a really bad error for when you make a mistake here. Should really... Okay, let's just get a ticket for this. So prove error messages when user makes a mistake in Emacs. So at present method it. At present, when one makes a mistake in metadata errors are not particularly enlightening. This was because we put in an invalid binding point. Binding point is this shop here. We should trap the lexical cost exception and provide a proper error given the context. Okay, and if I'm right that this is what the problem is, what we need to do is just jump over to the variability model and see what binding points there are. And as you can see, instead of entity, I'm in elements. So I just need to update this to become element. Generate. This is another classic example of things work around here. You tend to have these errors, but of course we still have a very, very bad error message system, so you you just have to log it till we have time to address all these issues. Right, so there's naming there. So it seems like the comment is being updated as well, so that's nice. And we just don't forget to regenerate engine. As you do. And get rid of the crap. Okey-doke. So at this point in time we now have, let's just for good measure, do a quick build. And change. It's good to have builds that work quickly, tests that run quickly while he's validating everything. So it seems we didn't break anything. And so we can say assets feature model for what do we call it again? Naming. I could have made 2 separate commits, but life is too short. Okay, so then we now have our new naming feature, so all we need to now do is to make sure that we're reading this naming feature. To do that, we should really... So let's think about this. We expect elements to have this naming feature set, any element, and we expect also, so really, just go back to our beloved injection model to asset model transaction where naming shouldn't be, actually not quite here, because, oh actually, model location is called now. This model location is here, and as I said before, it's a bit of a nightmare to do includes in LSP at present, so what we tend to do now is, just as a trick, first we would include, then we just have the hash, since it only reads 1 character at a time. It should now be slightly quicker. Okay, so now we have naming. All we need to do is look for what we did for model location, to be honest, more or less copy and paste. So create location, so I think you're gonna have something like a toName. Okay, slight mistake. We don't want to do it here, we want to do it in the adapter, that's it. Right, that's why I was looking for a toName and the name didn't exist. So, good. Let's go back to that model location. Let's jump here, copy it here. Around here somewhere. Right there. If we now look for toName, we're using it in several places. This is not ideal, because we have things like parent names, but to be fair, hopefully as part of a resolution, bit of a gamble, but I believe we'll be okay, because I think all names related to parents will have to be resolved. So I think, if I'm not wrong, I think what's going to happen is we're going to go and find the correct version of the name. So let's be a bit of a gamble here, but hopefully this will work. Let's just take my feature just generated, and let's just call naming here. Of course I need a feature model. Just not enough, it seems to take a model as well. I think you would require an entire model. Let's have a quick look at this. can't find it because of that, but it should hopefully be able to at least find. Let's header file, which is this guy here. Yeah, okay, so basically anything is configurable. Okay, that's good. We just need a feature model. Okay, so that's not too bad. The key problem is going to be, so an element is of course configurable, so that's not a problem. The problem is we don't really have a feature model. Presumably the adapter is constructible. Let's have a look at how the adapter is created. Here we are. So nothing stops us from saying that the adapter should have a feature model, right? Purely for these purposes, but there you go. Let's have a look. We need something like this guy here. There's no feature. It's a feature bundle. Not a feature model. So assets, let's go, yes, let's go for it. And how do I talk about a feature model? Yes, good way. Right, so, where are we then? So, let's create a public constructor, let's be explicit, of course. Look at type, explicit, adapter, something like this. You hear quite a bit of noise. Yeah, I have it downstairs. I'm just going to pause the video for a second and resume in a few minutes. Okay, still a bit of noise going on downstairs. Hopefully it's not going to make the video too messy. So we were just in the process of creating a constructor, if you remember, just a second ago. And what our constructor does is very straightforward. It just needs to remember about this feature model. And then hopefully it will be just a case of calling this with a feature model. Now we've got a static configuration that has been read. Remember, of course, this is optional. So I don't know what that means. Does it mean? I don't know what the type of this is then. It's not quite what you're looking for. We're looking for this chap here. No, that's actually the feature group. Yeah, no, that's correct. We're just looking for this chap here. Because it's optional, it could be... interesting. We have set it to be text. Okay, this is a bit of a mistake. Probably didn't mean for it to be text. Much more sensible for it to be Boolean. Let's have a look at variability. Boolean, yes. Right, so all we need to do then is to just update this to become Boolean. Regenerate. And then not forget to convert any dent lovely JSON model. Now then, the adapter and naming. Very nice, we have an optional bool, that's what we wanted. That's also handled, that's nice too, and finally this chap here. So then, adapter, okay cool, that looks good. So if I just say something like assets, make fix type of flag correctly set to text. Okay. Some more noise going on downstairs. Unfortunately, I have to pause again. Sadly, we're now getting the chaos of post-school. Kids causing all sorts of havoc. Right, now then. What we really want to do is something like, if this is set, so this simple name, internal, whatever you want to call it, something like this. And now what we want to do is we want to propagate this to adapter. Sure, we'll get lots of noise in the background. Apologies for that, but what you can do this time of the day. So we supply it with the location, supply it with that, and then actually for good measure, just to avoid making everybody have to supply this, probably want to create two variations of this method really. Because as you've seen, loads of people are calling this method for other reasons. So I think the best thing to do is probably to say, actually, sometimes we just have the previous version of the method. That doesn't really do anything particularly special, just delegates to the other method. And then, to name, we'll then say something like this. And now, of course, one realizes that it would make more sense to have it after that. And then in here we simply say, okay, the noise starts downstairs again. Let me put it on pause for a second. Okay, hopefully the noise was calmed down a little bit. So as we were saying, this overloaded version of the method, simply so that everybody else in this file is calling this method doesn't have to now start supplying another flag. Should be a bit annoying. And as you see, it makes more sense to have the second version afterwards. Okay, cool. Now then, the meat of the exercise. We need to, let's just get rid of this warning. Name should really call this chunk here. Now if you're wondering why it is that I didn't decide to default the parameter to true and make it the last parameter, it's because by convention in the Dogen codebase we always make the last thing the thing we're acting on, and everything else is parameters passed to the function. It's just a convention we have. Probably not a very good one, but that's what's been done so far. So I don't really want to start changing it haphazardly. We might have to revisit that. The lights are defaulting and so on. For now, it stays as it is. This looks all very sensible. Okay, now then. Now we have to have a quick look at our friend builder. See what it does. It already has a flag of some kind. Let's just put this side by side. So we could just say to them, well, I don't need to be explicit. Well, I should probably keep it explicit anyway, because so this way we don't change the interface. So the idea now is that the builder has this simple name is internal. Just make sure this is recorded somewhere. purposes. And similarly, if we just make sure that the constructor is aware of its existence. Righty, okay. Now at this point in time, one thing I never quite liked is this indentation. It's a bit weird. So I always find myself having to do this to make the indentation slightly more sensible. So, well, actually, to be honest, there's not much we need to do for this thing. So if simple name is thing, all we need to do is to make sure that as part of the building exercise, we need to set. We have a name builder. Right, so of course, it's never quite that simple, is it? We want the name to come off the name builder with the right thing. So propagate once more. Look for the definition of name builder. Already has a number of flags here. Oh, sorry. Name builder. It's not quite what I expect. Where were we a second ago? Oh, interesting. Why is there a name builder and a name builder? Create a name builder inside of a name builder. Oh, okay, fine. This is something else. Seem to just basically be propagating names. What we really want is the regular build. Which is this chap here. The qualified recommendation builder, blah blah blah, location. So there's a location builder that does the location, etc., etc. So name dot simple name internal is whatever we pass at the beginning, and then with a bit of luck, at this point in time, if you supply quite, so adapter with CPP is still causing problems. Make sure you're actually recording after all that stop and start. Oh, we are recording, good. So a simple name return. Oh, of course, what we forgot to do is after we updated the builder, we forgot to say to it that we wanted it to be false. Necessarily, I don't really like all these supplying flags to constructors, because then you end up having to comment and the comments get out of sync with a variable. I would like to have something like C# where I can say just this, because then the compiler would check that this thing hasn't changed the name. But as it happens, we don't have that yet, and I don't think we're getting that for C++20. So we just have to make do. Perhaps what we can do here is make this a little bit neater. I quite like when statements are just one line, exactly one line long, because it just gives me the sense that you read that line, you understood, and you can move on. Don't ask me why, that's part of my OCD. So now we're supplying this flag. Adapter now. Ah, okay, so there's other places where we're using the adapter. Let's have a quick look where these places are. C++, that must be this guy here. So, I expect to see some errors. Okay, we are. So, we just created the adapter here. Why did I create an adapter? Oh, okay. So we call it process elements. And then process elements. Ah, sadly, we have an adapter for all adaptations. Okay, sorry, 1 second, what exactly did you change after? We said... okay, fine, that's not a problem. We just basically require the feature model to create an adapter. So that's not a big problem. We just need to see if anyone knows a feature model. Perhaps something like CTX dots. So we got access to every single context here, so I'm not entirely sure which one you should be using, but say we take this chap here. And hopefully not quite sure, starting an error. I would have thought the problem is just our adapter. Perhaps the problem is that the feature model... What is the type of this feature model? It must be a LSB peak. What does that do? It'd be nice to just be able to see the type of something without having to go there. Peak sounds like the kind of thing. Okay. Not quite. Peak. By definition. Okay, doesn't seem to do very much. Let's just disable that mode for... Oh. Disable. Okay, so I'm just trying to understand what on earth... So feature model seems to be not far... Ah, okay, I know what's going on here. So what's happening here at the moment is that we probably are using pointers or optional or something for the injection context. And I think, if I'm not wrong, let's see if I can look at this definition. No. It's peculiar actually. I would have thought, let's have a look at the definition of context. Oh yeah, okay. These are actually being pulled in, so I thought it was just 4 declarations, but no, they're not. That being the case, no idea why. Oh, could it just be that these things... Oh, okay, I think I know what the problem is. This is a shared pointer. Not totally clear why. Now, the reason why I'm very confident that the shared pointer is pointing is because when part of the validation we ensure that the feature model is set. So, to be honest, we probably should just do something like const out by reference feature model. Just apply the effect here. Just make it a bit more readable. Yeah, the reason why I'm quite confident that should be pointing is because we have a model whereby, well, we have an approach whereby these things all get validated at the very beginning, then you can rely on their existence. And as it happens, it worked, so let's just run all tests. Funny, I just said that. We just had a seg fault. Now let me guess. I suspect the seg fault is coming exactly from there. So clearly my theories are incorrect. The reason why probably is because this is one of the tests, and the tests we don't really are strict in validation. But it's a good point. It's a good point. We should probably not be doing silly things like that. We do validate this on the code path. So what we'll do instead is we'll just have a quick look at the context factory. And let's just see who's using the feature model. Pretty much all of them. Injection assets. Well, okay, so now we have to have a look at the test then. Why is the feature model not set on the tests? like this approach, to be honest, because clearly we are relying on existence of something on the happy path that we don't bother setting up when we're doing tests. It seems to be like a wrong thing to do. Finding all sorts at the moment. Right, so let's just go back to FlyLink. Check here. And open the tests. Right, so we probably have someone responsible for creating a context here. That someone did not bother to create a feature model. So the problem is scoped context manager. It's rather interesting. What does this chap do? It's code that we haven't touched in a while, so right, so this chap is actually just creating a context from a context factory, which is just fine. So the context factory is creating the context. As you can see, nothing is straightforward around here. It was expected to have resulted in a context with a feature model. They will make context somewhere else. This is rather puzzling. Really rather puzzling. Well, first let's just make sure that we really didn't screw anything else up. So if I just go to the transform, something tells me that for whatever reason the context that's reaching here does not have a feature model. You can see here pretty much everything is set, including injection context. That's just for a laugh. Clearly is what's going to happen, but it's worthwhile testing. Various streams. Right, so this is a puzzling thing. So as you can see, this is the problem we tend to have. Okay, right. So on the plus side, we don't seem to have our message coming up. So okay, that's good. So okay, right. So this is not the problem. Fine. Okay, that's a bit slightly better. I think the misleading thing was in the adapter specs. So I suspect something is happening on our reading of so where is today being called? So where we are, plus fidelity. Yeah, so something around here is the problem, I should think. Before I do anything else. Let's just see what happens if we try. Something really simple, of course, it's not gonna like the way they use that shell. So, okay, I'm just trying to prove that I can do something really silly with this if, and somehow the compiler is not actually taking the other side of the if first. Okay, that's exactly what's happening here. So this is not a good idea. I mean, I should have sometimes doing things quickly, I don't think. C++ is a very optimal language. It probably sometimes generates code that checks both sides of the if or in different order or something like that. So really what you want to do is something like ternary operator. So if it's populated, take this guy. If it's not, take false. And that might give us what we need. I think the problem was that we are dereferencing the... okay, still problems. Oh, okay. This is also not a good idea. Oh no, sorry, that is actually a good idea because this is just a variable. So, if... this is puzzling. I thought this was simply... Let's just have a quick look at this definition again. Boost optional for bool. So, without a doubt, we should be able to say if this, then it's pointing, and it's false. This should be valid. Okay, let's just try the simplest possible construct. I mean, this is really silly, but let's say false. Then if. Without a doubt, this should do something sensible. And then if it still doesn't work, then I think the problem is elsewhere again. Okay, still doesn't work. So let's just go back to putting setting this to false. Making sure it compiles. Whilst this is all going on, I'm just going to kick off a debug build. Yes, we do need to use GDB. So, why is this not working so well? Well, I guess the first thing we need to test is whether just generating this chap here causes problems. We just have a bug in the generated code. Not very likely it's possible. So we do something like this. Okay, I'm gonna have to stop our debug build, go back to release. Shame we can't actually do two things at the same time. Interesting. So we still have a crash. Ah, okay, I think I know what the problem is. The problem is with the configuration, I think. So what's probably happening here is... let's just have a more careful look as to where... Okay, so what's going on here? Configuration is only set afterwards. So really, what we're trying to say is... well, two things really. We can either say, make sure the configuration is managed first. Right, so let's just do that. sure we populate the configuration before we attempt to read any metadata from it. Now read that metadata related to the naming populate name and other properties. Right, so now then we can go back to our original theory, which is this should be something like this. If that's set, then you would like to take the deref of that, otherwise you can take false. Don't care about logging, don't care about any of that, and we'd like that to be const. Now if we understood anything at all about C++, this should work. And it did not, but for very different reasons. Now, why is this failing so badly? Okay, so we seem to have caused some kind of havoc in our configuration. Okay, it's just okay, just looking more carefully what we just did here. Yeah, okay, it's fine. So see, we got a bit of a recursive problem here. We are taking the configuration from the name, but of course we didn't really set the name properly. So we should populate the configuration first, and then I suspect we can do that as well. And then we populate the name. We can set the name for both the element and configuration. Okay, so this makes a bit more sense. And then finally populate all other properties. Attributes. Right, so that was a little bit more complicated than expected, but hopefully now. Again, as I said, I'm trying to keep this used to about an hour. Already on 48 minutes, they go quickly. So the okay, here we go, is screen. Good, so now then, yeah, we got enough here. So let's think about this. What we were trying to achieve here. The objective of this particular exercise was to create a new feature, a new metamodel feature that enables us to have metadata, a simple name internal. If that's set, then the metadata will then set the metadata internal to true on that one name. Not touch anything else, not break any of the resolution or nothing like that. So the good news is we seem to have generated everything. All tests are running. Okay, good. That's exactly what we wanted. That's just to make sure that all models still generate. Sometimes the tests pass, but the models don't. That was just because we had an old version of Dogen there. No changes. And for good measure, we shall also go up to the reference implementations and just generate all models. Double check that nothing changed, nothing has changed. Okay, right, so one change there, which is that ABC nonsense. Now then, one last thing that I want to do as part of this exercise is I would like to use that metadata. So I'm going to go to the refimple and I'm going to set something here. I'm going to set this guy here. And so if I just go to the model and if I just say something like Dogen equals to true, OK, save, and now let's just generate everything. No error, so that's good news. Now let's go to his shell. Let's regenerate it. Right, so if I JQ this chap here, and if I just quickly have a look at my build elements, which are just here. Visual Studio Components. I'm not sure if I'm going to bother narrowing this. Now that we narrowed, I think should be quicker. What are we looking for? Oh yes, we need to figure out what the name of this element is. Shared pointer parent. So is my parent, is my name. Okay, there we go. So the simple name internal is set to true. Now for good measure, let's just narrow. Never quite know how to unnarrow, to be honest. Narrowing to, okay, narrowing buffer contents. Region, current page, everything. Widen, of course. Control X, www. No, widen. Control X and W, of course. Now let's just double check that no one has got that set to true, which seems to be the case, but to be honest, I'm gonna hedge and grab for this. Sort unique. Of course you can't do that, so I'm going to JQ first. Hopefully, interestingly, I don't seem to have to pipe very well. Okay, no problem. Let's just let our shell. Not quite sure why, I've noticed this before. We don't seem to have to pipe when we're doing funky region commands and Emacs. I think there must be something else needs done. Right, so if I just say JQ dot, what was it, 003? Right, okay, cool. So as you can see here, we have a lot of false. So we have not only truths. That 001 is the outputs, apologies. Right, so we have a lot of false and we have one true. Okay, that's good. It'd be nice to okay, that looks alright to me. Okay, cool. Just a single one. True. Okay. Okay, so this is very good news. It seems that we are able to propagate this flag over to just the one main. Now, of course, we want to make sure that nothing breaks and nothing broke in terms of resolution, so that's fine. Cool. Okay, good. Now then, what do we have here? In fact, before we go any further, let's just make sure we convert C++ref import. I should really create some targets of these things. There's ways to just remember the target. I think I'm being talked at by downstairs. Just 1 second, please. Sorry, yet another instruction. Where was I? Oh yes, I was saying that there's lots of ways in Emacs to remember the targets and to chain the targets and so on. But although I've used Emacs for many years, I must say I'm not actually super user Emacs really. I just know enough to get around. So update properties of Visual Studio component. Not enough to get around, to be honest, but never really took the time, never had the time to actually sort out all my annoyances. Should really go on a Emacs Lisp binge and do lots of Emacs Lisp coding for a few weeks. Well, that will have to wait until I finish the PhD, I think. Right, cool. So now, okay, let's just summarize what we achieved in this video. We have managed to rename the existing feature bundle in Engine. We created a new feature bundle, which we called naming. We've managed to use that feature bundle to read a metadata property. We set that metadata property in our test model. Sure, I could find it. She's here. We made sure that that's coming through, so that it looks good. Okay, yet another instruction. Just 1 second. Apologies. Where was I? Yeah. So make sure this is recording yet again. So we've put that variable in metadata. Made sure that my variable's metadata is coming through. Made sure nothing else broke. And at this point in time, we are kind of more or less convinced that assets meta model contains all the stuff that we need in order to generate solutions in projects in terms of the output side of things. This is just the input. The metadata model element is coming in. It looks vaguely correct. So this is probably a nice place to stop now. And then on the next video, we shall look into how to take advantage of that new metadata model elements to output data. That should be fun because I think there will be quite a few problems. Okay, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching.